What's up, Dolphin fans? Welcome back into our series here, talking to the folks that helped build the team for your 2026 Miami Dolphins. And today we're talking to college scout Ricky Seale. Ricky, welcome in, man. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to talk to you because we get all these scouts in here and people across the organization with different backgrounds, although they're kind of similar because you guys work your way up and you get in these positions. But for you, the playing career was first for you. 3 seasons here at the Miami Dolphins, 8 in the NFL, but you also coach at the high school level. That's a bit unique in terms of the guys I've spoke to. Tell us about your path and your journey here to the Miami Dolphins.
So it was a good journey. Started playing football when I was 9 years old. Always wanted to play. My parents actually wouldn't let me play.
Really?
Yeah. Took a little bit of time to get them to buy in. My dad's a former NFL player. He was actually the one that didn't want me to play. Always wanted me to play baseball. So the journey's been fun. Like, started playing football when I was 9, got into high school, played running back, played safety, played corner, ended up being a running back in college. When it was all said and done, I had a little stint where, I wanted to give back to my old high school. A lot of memories there, a lot of great coaching there. So I just wanted to kind of give back in that way. So I coached at the high school level. The one thing I will say about my journey is throughout everything, I've just learned how much teamwork really matters. Whether you're coaching, whether you're playing, whether you're supervising, being a team is something that I really love doing. I don't really I'm not much of a golfer or a tennis player because of the individual aspect. I like being on a team. So
you mentioned your dad, also a longtime scout, been with the Packers for over 30 years and previously recognized as the NFC Scout of the Year at the Fritz Pollard Alliance. What kind of impact has your dad had on you in terms of pursuing this profession?
I would say me and my dad have this Obi-Wan Anakin kind of relationship.
Okay.
He always calls me his young Padawan. He's a great guy just to listen to, like, outside of being my dad. One of the coolest things about being on the road, kind of being in the same region as him now, is when I meet people and they talk about him. Usually you hear your parents saying how proud they are of you, but I'm like proud to hear, when I walk into a room, I get to be a part of what my dad is. Even though we're two separate people, he always takes the time to help me out when I need it, but he understands that I'm my own man. So there's just going to be times where, sometimes you got to sink or swim, and he knows that. He didn't really have anybody until he found somebody that was going to teach him. I've had that built in, which has really helped me out. But I really like me and my dad's relationship. I will say when I was younger, I took for granted who he was. So being a little bit older now and understanding that helps me out.
I was literally going to say one of the best parts about getting older is the appreciation we gather for our parents and
Yes,
the
sir.
sacrifices they made.
Uh-huh.
I love hearing that stuff, man. I want to go back to something you mentioned in your first answer about the importance of teamwork because listening to Seale talk to the press, to media, off the record, on whatever it is, he has been so adamant about the collaboration aspect of this and really focusing on every move we make is going to be in the best interest of the Miami Dolphins. And in this profession, where there's so many individuals involved in an overall team aspect, I can see where, maybe sometimes that might be tough because like you have your players and your beliefs and you want to get behind them. But I'm curious how that has worked so far under John Eric Sullivan in terms of this Dolphins staff and the collaboration you guys all work with.
You know what? I think it's been great. He's really good about hearing us out. We all understand at the end of the day, he is the GM. This is his team. He gives us the opportunity to speak, though. He's going to hear you out. Not to say that that's going to change his mind about somebody. But at the end of the day, I think we've all bought into the fact that we just want to win. Whoever we pick, whoever's on this team, we want the best for them. Whether we like them in the beginning or not, we all end up liking them once they're a Miami Dolphins. So, from that standpoint, I think he's done a really good job of not only addressing the players as a team, but addressing us as a staff and making us more of a team.
Yeah, it's cool to hear that consistency
Yeah.
really works across multiple platforms. I want to talk to you about your experience in different regions. So you now work in the West region.
Yes.
And you came from which region were you previously?
The Southwest.
The Southwest.
Yeah.
So what do those two regions entail? And just tell us what it's like for a scout to shift from one region to the next.
You know what? It's just different personalities, I'll say. Players are players. No matter where you go, no matter what region you're in, you're going to find good players. There's big schools, no matter what region you're in.
What's your favorite part of the process? And I guess just if you could explain the differences between, fall versus spring, or just kind of how different things can be on other ends of the spectrum.
You know what? It's a funny job, actually, because as much as you're competing with guys, you're on the road with a lot of guys, especially in the fall. You're seeing guys from different teams, guys that you've built relationships with. Obviously, there's conversation that happens, but not too much. You don't want to give away what you guys are doing. But it's fun, man. Like you get to go out, you're traveling, you're with people that you like, you're going into schools together, you're talking to people. I just think in the spring, it's even more fun because now you're just going to the schools, you're watching guys work out. But kind of similar to what I said earlier, there's still like this camaraderie factor, even when you're working with guys that aren't necessarily on your team. I think that's one of the coolest parts of this job. Just being able to meet the different people, have the different relationships, and still be able to work for whatever organization you're working for.
It kind of seems to be an across-the-board thing when you ask an ex-athlete their favorite part about the job, or I should say the profession in their playing career, the part they miss the most is the camaraderie in the locker room.
Yeah.
Is that you kind of get a taste of that in this
Yeah,
job?
I that's something that I actually really miss. I think that's something that John Eric is doing a very good job of. We have this locker room feel. We're all buying in. We hang out with each other. It's a good time. As stressful as this job can be, he's been doing a good job of making it fun for us. So
I'd love to hear that, man. Yeah, it shows. It shows across the building. Last one I have for you here. So you were an ex-player, like you mentioned, and I love to kind of pick guys' brains on how that informed you as a scout. Like when you think about your playing career and how it helps you in this profession, what comes to mind when you think about that?
Just knowing like the day-to-day, what it kind of takes, the work ethic, the type of person you want to be around. I was blessed enough to be around some really great players like Andrew Luck, Christian McCaffrey. I saw what they did day-to-day to be great. Some of those things I wish I would have done more of, but it's been cool, like even down to like Richard Sherman or somebody like Doug Baldwin,
Jeez, name dropping, man.
Yeah, right. Got to give my guys a shout out, but all very different paths, but got to see their day in, day out, got to see how hard they worked, got to see how they took coaching. So, when I'm out there and I'm on the field, I'm looking more so for those type of intangibles. Are you coachable? Yeah. Do you work hard? Are you the first one on the field? Are you the last one to leave? So it's the little things like that. And then obviously you got to watch the film, right? The film will tell the full story, but there's little things that I think just playing help you, like, hey, like I remember like Christian McCaffrey used to be the last one to leave the field. He was always working out more than everybody else. So I'm looking for those little things when I'm out there at the school.
Good stuff. He is Ricky Seale, our West Region College Scout. Ricky, appreciate your time today, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you, man.
I have today with me Northeast Player Personnel Scout Devon Smith. Devon, how you doing, man?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
We're going to have you kind of take us into your world here on this interview. And first, just kind of start with your journey to the league, man. I love talking to guys about this stuff. And 4 years with the Miami Dolphins, personnel experience at the college level, also coach at the high school level. You've kind of had your hand in a lot of pots there. Can you just kind of talk about your path and what's led you to this position here with the Dolphins?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I started out coaching high school ball down in West Virginia, Morgantown, while I was a student. Coached there for about 3 years, and that sort of led to me interning with the team there. And then pretty much after I graduated, my first job was at Penn State with the football team. But it wasn't until 2018 I got to Ohio State, and I was doing strictly personnel only work. And that place is a machine. I learned a ton there, and that opened up a ton of doors for me. Really, my next two stops, Bowling Green and then Colorado State before coming here. So he sort of moved all around and finally ended up in Miami.
How did that benefit you making the transition from college to pro? Because obviously there's a lot of carryover when we're scouting prospects. How did being in the college level prepare you to be a college scout at the NFL level?
Yeah, I think really looking at the traits. It's always the traits from an evaluation standpoint. But to be honest, these are pretty big change, just because the process is completely different. At this level, we're spending so much time scouting the person, learning the background, learning the character, making sure the right fits for this building. Opposed to where in high school, looking at high school kids, you're really trying to find the best players, the best talent. Where here we're trying to do both.
So now you're in the Northeast region here, and that's a part of the country where there's a lot of programs, and you can kind of probably knock off a few stops in your car, right? Mm-hmm. You can drive to stops. I've been asking a few of the guys this about how many flights they take a year. Do you have any idea what your flight number is on a given year?
This year was actually 0. I did do a couple 8-9 hour drives, but I avoided flights. My only flights were to coming down here, All-Star games. No flights this year. Try to keep it at a minimum.
Keep it in the car. Yeah. I've been piecing this together. I think scouts prefer cars, man. You're the third guy I've asked that, and that's been the same answer across the board.
Right. Yeah.
Long drives is preferable, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, just waiting at the airport, the flights almost adds up to be a long drive, anyways. So. Yeah, I like having my car wherever.
Going back to your work in the Northeast region, first year this last year, right, in that spot, what was some of the, I guess, biggest takeaways you had just in terms of the scouting itself and some of the programs that you visited?
Yeah, it was exciting to be able to go back, scout at my alma mater and some of the places I've worked at previously. But I think a lot of people, they think of the Northeast, they think of the Penn States of the world, and some of those bigger schools. But there's a lot of small schools that produce good NFL talent, the Ivy Leagues and stuff like that. So to me, it's exciting going out and scouting those small school players and trying to find that small school guy that makes it.
How does that change? So you go to, Ohio State and you've got 5 stars that you lose count of at that point, but then you go, to your point, like to an FCS school. How does it change for you at all in terms of your approach, or is it pretty uniform across the board?
It is a little bit different. You have to look from a different lens just because the level of competition they're playing against. Ohio State's playing against the Alabamas and the Georgias of the world, where, some of these small schools are playing against FCS competition. But I think the traits are the traits, and usually you get to see these players eventually in the process come spring, play at All-Star games, the Senior Bowl, see them play against better competition. But I wouldn't say it's a different process. It's just it is a different visit. I think the smaller schools are a little more intimate visit. You get to talk to the coaches more. I think people are more open. They're more welcoming compared to some of the bigger schools where they know their players are getting drafted no matter what. But no, I would say it comes down. It's pretty similar.
Yeah, it's cool like watching the Senior Bowl every year, because every year we get one of those small school guys that kind of balls out that week and puts himself in the national discussion. But you guys are probably like, I knew about him 6 months ago.
Exactly. Yeah, it's funny.
So in this profession, obviously lots of growth and lots of different jobs requires you to probably learn and just kind of evolve your skill set. I'm curious, is there anything that you've learned when it comes to evaluating players that has become like a non-negotiable for you that, I have to have this with every prospect I look at?
Yeah, like I said before, I think that everyone's trying to find the best talent possible. But when it comes to non-negotiable, I think things I've learned since I've been here is just the character piece again, finding the right people for the building. Sully says it all the time to us. We want smart, tough, competitive, and guys that love football. And that's sort of the guys that we want to build our team around. So I'd say those are probably the things that I think are non-negotiable, especially in this phase when we're trying to build this team. I'll
close with this because draft day is the best day of the year, in my opinion. I'm sure you guys feel similarly about that. What's your favorite part about draft day?
Favorite part about draft day? I probably wouldn't say I have one certain thing that's my favorite, but I would say out of my 4 years here, this is the draft that I'm most excited about. Just with all the picks and the new staff, I think there's a lot to be excited about.
Really, really good stuff there, Devon Smith, Northeast Player Personnel Scout. Appreciate your time today, man.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
What's up, y'all? We are back here talking to the guys that helped build the team for your Miami Dolphins, and today's guest is college scout in the Southwest region, Matt Leitch. Matt, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
What's your favorite part of the job in terms of like time of year? I know the job changes from spring to summer to fall and everything in between, but what's your favorite time of year when it comes to this profession?
I think the most fun part is the original, like when you go on August visits and you see the guys for the first time because you spend the summer watching tape, so you get an idea of like the player, but you've never seen him in person. So like when you first see them in person, you get a better idea of like what they look like and how they feel and, the movement skills and all of that stuff. And it gives you a better like picture of like the player as a whole.
The live aspect is a lot different than watching tape. Like what's the biggest differentiator you can get when it comes to, because now the draft community is full of people on social media that are watching these games and giving their opinions, but you have the chance to go watch them live, and obviously you do it professionally. What's the differentiator there when it comes to just watching tape on a monitor versus seeing a guy live and in person?
Yeah, you see everything. Sometimes on tape you can't always tell like how big, how long. You get the measurements and all that stuff, but you can't really like feel it. And sometimes when you're in person, you can get a feel for the player. Like you feel the speed, the power, like when they're contact, everything like that. It's like you just get a better feel overall for the player, especially compared to who they're playing against. And then you get to see them live, move around, how they interact with teammates, and kind of some of the stuff you don't get to see on tape. And like their attention to detail on things, and it just gives you a better picture of the player, and you see it with your own eyes versus watching it on a screen.
I just asked Brock how many flights he takes a year. Do you know about how many that would be for you?
I'm probably a little less, but it's not a ton because I drive my area for the most part.
That's what he was saying.
So it's not as many as you think. Most of my flights are either going to like the Combine, All-Star games, and then coming back here for meetings and
Yeah, I
different
gotcha.
things. But for the most part, I drive almost everything.
Are you like a podcast or music guy, or what's playing?
It's a mix, yeah. it depends on the mood I'm in.
Yeah, dude, I love driving alone. It's
Yeah.
one of the most peaceful moments you're going to have.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite things about working here in general is before a preseason game, I'll come by and grab some things I need to go over to the stadium to watch a game. And oftentimes I'll see a lot of you guys hanging out, and you all walk over there together. It's like I was always curious, what is that like for you guys when you get together for a preseason game? You make the walk across, you watch some football. Like, what are you guys looking for? What are you talking about? Just what's that experience like when you guys get back together in August at a preseason game?
Yeah, it's huge for us because, we're done after the draft. We go back home. We're home throughout the summer, and we start watching tape of, like, the next draft class. But you lose sight of a little bit. Like, you watch your practice tape, you watch the training camp tape, so you know what's playing on your roster. But it's good to reset your eyes to what's playing on your roster currently and like what a practice squad player looks like, what a backup looks like physically and athletically, and it resets your eyes before you go to the visits in August and like the college players, so you don't get like a muddied up version of it. It helps you like realize what's in your building, and then when you go see a college player, you have a direct comparison in terms of a depth chart and roster value.
Do you kind of do that when you watch tape too, where you try to because when you dive into a college class, you kind of want to it's almost like wine tasting, right? You want to reset your palate. Do you watch NFL players to kind of gauge that, or how does that process work?
Yeah, typically in the summer, I've gotten better at this every year in terms of at least like being like self-evaluating yourself and figuring out what positions, like maybe in this draft or like 2 or 3 drafts ago, where you're like, I need to like be more well-rounded with like a offensive tackle or a safety or something like that, and I'll try to watch like certain guys in the NFL or like free agents, like maybe just be one position every summer, but you just try to sharpen your tools a little bit, and you try to see like what level of players playing at those and the strengths and weaknesses of them, and you try to marry that up a little bit with what you do in the fall with college players.
I love this stuff, man.
Yeah.
This is also fascinating. And kind of on that topic, are there any players in the current team that you really scouted heavily, or guys that were in your region that stand out that you're particularly proud of in terms of them getting here and really playing good ball?
Yeah, it's never like an individual effort, but directly from my area. I was in the Northeast for 3 years, so we've drafted Chop Robinson, Malik Washington, Jordan Phillips, and Dante Trader the last 2 years. Those were all like unique, different stories, like how we got to that process, and it's always a team effort in terms of touch points, multiple people getting their hands on him, multiple people like interviewing the guy, multiple people evaluating. So it's kind of cool when the whole picture comes together, and like you see that you're going to draft a kid from your area. Especially kids that you believe in with good makeup, guys that can hit their ceiling because of their makeup. And I think all 4 of those guys kind of fit into that category. But in terms of those guys, like I always thought like Malik Washington was a really cool story, but he had a huge year last year at Virginia. It was really fun to like see a late round pick like that. He was like stuck on our roster and been a good player for us.
Yeah, I was going to say that seems like a theme across those
Yeah.
players where it's like, I know those guys' work habits are the common theme there. Let's close with this because you talk about the team effort and the collaboration. What's that been like so far with Sully here in 26 in terms of just the overall collaboration of the group this year?
It's been really good. I mean, it's obviously been a transition. You're transitioning grading scales and philosophies and kind of thought processes. So it's been really cool, at least for me, from like the ground level of an area scout, to see like how they had done things in Green Bay and kind of marry that with some of the stuff we do. And obviously he's got his own twists and flavor on things, but he's a good leader. He's a good evaluator. He speaks his mind, and you know exactly what he wants from you, which is huge for us because, I mean, we do a lot of different things away from the building, and we kind of like are our own boss at times. So it's good to see like what he wants from us and kind of achieve that stuff, and it'll be fun. We've got some draft capital, and it'll be kind of fun to see that all come together. But no, it's been great so far, and everyone's got a different leadership style and way of doing things, but it's been really cool to kind of see a different way of doing things.
Yeah, you heard him say it, second most picks in the draft this year. Miami Dolphins, one of the guys behind the team, building the team this year. Matt Leitch, college scout. Appreciate your time today, man. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime.